Tonight, when your room gets dark, you will probably do something no human could do for almost all of history. You will reach for a switch, and in 1 second, night will disappear. No fire, no smoke, no danger, no silence, just light. We barely think about it because to us, darkness is optional. If we don't want it, we remove it. But for roughly 99.9% of human history, darkness was not optional. Darkness was half of life. For over 300,000 years, when the sun went down, the world changed completely. You couldn't scroll, you couldn't work under a lamp, you couldn't walk safely through a glowing city. In many places, you could barely see the people sleeping next to you. And yet, humans survived there. Not just survived, they told stories there. They dreamed there. They built culture there. And most strangely, they may have slept in a way that would feel broken to us today. Because waking up at 2 a.m. might not mean your body is failing. It might mean your body is remembering something ancient. To understand why, we have to go back before electricity, before candles, before streets, before houses as we know them. We have to go back to fire. Fire changed everything about the human night. The earliest strong evidence for humans controlling fire comes from Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, around 1 million years ago. And that matters because before fire, night belonged to predators. Humans were not built like leopards, wolves, or hyenas. We don't see well in the dark. We don't run well in the dark. We make noise, we have vulnerable skin, we have children who cry. In the ancient world, moving around at night was not mysterious or romantic. It was dangerous. So before controlled fire, the safest strategy was simple. Find shelter, stay close, and wait for the sun. But once humans learned to keep fire alive, the night became something different. A fire created a small island of safety. Some researchers describe the protected space around a campfire as only about 30 feet wide. Inside the light, people could see faces, protect children, cook food, stay warm, and keep animals away. Outside that circle, everything was uncertain, and that circle changed human behavior. For the first time, the day did not fully end at sunset. Fire added extra hours. Not bright hours, not productive hours in the modern sense, but human hours. Hours for sitting, talking, watching the flames, listening. This matters more than it sounds. During the day, ancient conversation was probably practical. Where is the food? Who is going hunting? What needs to be repaired? Who saw tracks? Who is angry with whom? Daytime talk was survival management. But at night, around fire, conversation changed. In 2014, anthropologist Polly Wiesner published research on the Juhowansi people of southern Africa, a hunter-gatherer group whose way of life gives researchers rare insight into older human patterns. She found that during the day, around 80% of conversations were practical, but at night, around 81% of conversations became stories, jokes, myths, memories, music, and talk about people far away. That is a huge shift because stories are not just entertainment. Stories teach danger without needing to experience it. They pass on history. They explain rules. They make people feel connected to ancestors, spirits, animals, and places they may never see. In daylight, humans solved problems. At night, humans created meaning. The campfire was probably our first theater, our first classroom, our first church, and our first cinema. Before screens, the fire was the screen. But ancient nights were not only about storytelling. They were also about a kind of sleep modern people have almost forgotten. Today, we think normal sleep means one clean block. You go to bed, you fall asleep, you wake up in the morning. That is the ideal. So when you wake up at 2 a.m., your first thought is usually panic. Why am I awake? How many hours do I have left? Is something wrong with me? And then you check your phone, which is exactly the worst possible thing to do. But for much of human history, waking in the middle of the night was not treated like a disorder. It was part of the rhythm. In 2001, historian Roger Ekirch published research after spending 16 years studying old diaries, medical books, prayer manuals, court records, and literature. He found more than 500 references to something called first sleep and second sleep. People would go to bed not long after dark. They would sleep for around 4 hours. Then, sometime in the middle of the night, they would wake naturally. They might remain awake for 1 or 2 hours. Then they would return to sleep for another 4 hours until morning. This was not called insomnia. It was normal. That middle window had its own purpose. Some people prayed. Some thought about their dreams while they were still vivid. Some talked quietly. Some made love. Some wrote, reflected, or simply lay still in the dark. In some traditions, this quiet period had a name: the watch. The watch was not daytime and it was not sleep. It was a third state, a strange, calm space between the dream world and the waking world. And the more you think about it, the more modern life starts to look unusual. We have almost no room for that state anymore. We are either working, consuming, scrolling, or sleeping. If we are awake, we expect stimulation. If we are asleep, we expect efficiency. But ancient humans had something in between: silence, darkness, unstructured thought. Then, in 1992, psychiatrist Thomas Ware ran an experiment that made the old historical evidence look even more serious. He placed volunteers in a world without artificial evening light. They experienced around 14 hours of darkness every night, closer to what humans would have experienced before modern lighting. At first, their sleep was messy, but after several weeks, their bodies settled into a pattern. They slept for about 4 hours, then they woke for 1 to 3 hours. Then they slept again. Nobody instructed them to do this. Their bodies simply moved toward it, as if segmented sleep was not an accident, but an older setting still buried inside the human nervous system. During that middle waking period, people did not describe feeling anxious in the normal way. They often described feeling peaceful, reflective, almost meditative. That is the part we have mostly lost. Modern people still wake up in the night, but instead of seeing it as a natural pause, we treat it like failure. We turn on lights, we check the time, we grab our phones, we flood our eyes with blue light. We start measuring the night like a productivity problem, and that makes everything worse, because your brain still uses light as a command. When light hits your eyes late at night, especially bright artificial light, your brain interprets it as daytime. Melatonin is delayed. Your circadian rhythm shifts. Your body gets confused. It does not know that the light is from a phone. It only knows that light means wakefulness. And this is where electricity changed more than our homes. It changed our relationship with the night itself. In the 1600s, major cities began lighting their streets. Paris expanded street lighting under Louis XIV. London followed. Then came cheaper candles, gas lamps in the 1800s. And in 1879, Thomas Edison helped bring the electric light bulb into modern life. Within a few generations, the human night had been completely redesigned. This was progress, obviously. No one should romanticize a world where night was full of danger, disease, and fear. But progress can still take something from us. And what we lost was not only darkness. We lost a rhythm. For most of history, night had structure. There was firelight. There was storytelling. There was first sleep. There was the quiet watch. There was second sleep. There was dawn. Now, night often has no boundary. Modern humans can spend 7 or 8 hours exposed to artificial light after sunset. We answer messages in bed. We watch videos after midnight. We sleep beside glowing screens. We live in rooms where the sun can be gone for hours, but the brain never fully receives the message. The body is ancient. The environment is modern. That mismatch is one reason sleep feels so fragile today. Researchers have even found that spending just 1 week camping without artificial light can shift the body's melatonin cycle by nearly 2 hours. That means the ancient rhythm is not gone. It is suppressed. And maybe that is why the 2 a.m. awakening feels so haunting. Because part of you expects the old world, the dark room, the silence, the fire outside, the people breathing nearby, the mind drifting between dream and memory. But instead, you wake inside the modern world, reach for a screen, and turn your nervous system back on. So what did ancient humans do at night? They protected each other. They watched the fire. They told stories that became culture. They slept in 2 phases. They woke in the dark and thought about dreams, fears, people, gods, animals, and the day to come. They did not treat the night as wasted time. They treated it as half of life. Tonight, when you turn off the lights, remember this. Your body was not designed in the age of electricity. It was shaped by firelight, moonlight, starlight, and darkness. And if you wake up at 2 a.m., maybe the first thing to do is not panic. Don't grab your phone. Don't flood the room with light. Don't treat the silence like an enemy. Just stay still for a moment. Let the dark remain dark. Listen to the room. Let your mind wander. Because maybe that wakefulness is not your body breaking. Maybe it is your body remembering the oldest night humans ever knew. The night before switches, before screens, before cities that never sleep. A night where darkness was not a problem to solve, but the place where humans learned how to dream.